Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. The topic of today's video is all about that fire-breathing lizard Charizard. Actually, this guy hasn't made an appearance for a little while. He chills at the side of the collection. So today's video, all about the man, the myth, the legend, Charizard. So I thought while I talk through this video, I might just roll through pretty much, I don't know if it's nearly every Charizard card ever made up on the screen here, from first edition base set through to Paldean Fates special illustration rare and everything in between. So I suppose let's get on to the main topic at hand. This is predominantly a Pokemon investing video and channel, so I really want to get into the nuts and bolts around Charizard and his role in the TCG. But before we do that, let's get into a bit of background behind Charizard, right? Here's my thoughts on Charizard and why he's so pragmatic and popular to the Pokemon community. It reminds me a lot, and this is maybe a strange analogy, but it reminds me a lot of Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. Most people around my vintage probably grew up watching Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. That was sort of, the cartoon. You might add something else on, Spider-Man or something else, or Yu-Gi-Oh might have been on, but they were sort of the three cartoons of a morning, wasn't it? Or an afternoon after school. You had Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and something else, Yu-Gi-Oh or Digimon or Spider-Man or Superman, whatever else might have been on. But it reminds me a lot of Dragon Ball Z and Vegeta. Okay, so Vegeta obviously was the main antagonist throughout the Saiyan saga, but we got glimpses of what could be, and then of course when it rolled into the Namek saga, he still sort of fueled his own interests and personal quests and showed off his villainous side a lot, but he also started to realize that he could help the other Z fighters and change his ways a little bit. And, it sort of reminds me of Charizard in the anime, that he was almost a bit like Vegeta throughout the Dragon Ball Z series, in that, yeah, he was a hero quite often, but he also had this villainous side where he could play up and be a bit temperamental, for lack of a better word, to Ash in the anime. And it sort of created this love-hate relationship, but really a love and popularity for that particular Pokemon. And that's translated into the TCG. It was, and still is, the original chase card for most of us. Okay, most people that watch my channel, I don't imagine many kids watch it. I imagine a lot of the kids would open those chase up videos. I just combine the word kids and chase together. There you go. I imagine most of the kids would watch a lot of those opening videos. Maybe, things like Leonhardt and stuff. But I don't imagine there's too many kids watching this. I reckon most people are probably my vintage, a little bit younger or a little bit older. So for most of us, Charizard was the original chase. He was the card that we wanted to get. I remember in the schoolyard, grade 6, grade 7, grade 5 even, Charizard was just the man. Like if you had a holo Charizard, whether it was ripped, scratched, torn, you were the king. If you managed to pull that from original base set booster box, you were awesome. We didn't know really what first edition and unlimited edition meant, but if you had a Charizard, you were the man. It was our original chase card. Okay, so I suppose the question's not, when it comes to the TCG and Charizard and investing in sets with Charizard, the question isn't, is Charizard overrated? I think the question more is Charizard overrepresented? Jeez, that's a bit of a tongue twister. It's not, is he overrated? Is he overrepresented? And I think perhaps the answer could be yes. And another question that stems from this is, Charizard being overrepresented, is that to the detriment of some other Pokemon? Or is that to the detriment of a set? Can Charizard hold a set? Will Charizard make a set investable? I've just asked maybe 4 to 6 questions right there, so let's unpack a few of them. Is he overrepresented? The answer, I think, quite blatantly is probably yes. He seems to be the go-to for the Pokemon company if, things are running out of, I don't know, is it because they're running out of ideas and they just know that not only will kids buy and try and chase Charizard, but adults will also buy to try and chase Charizard? It's like, Charizard's the golden child and they know that people are going to spend money if he's inside a set. So it just feels that he gets pumped into every set almost. But is this to the detriment of other Pokemon? That was the next question that I asked. Well, let's unpack that one a little bit, okay? So if we look at sets that are really heavy Charizard laden, okay, especially recent sets, like let's look at a set like Darkness Ablaze, or even Obsidian Flames, or really even a set like Champion's Path, which has the two main chase cards being Charizard. What happens to other Pokemon or other chase cards in that set? And the answer is quite a simple one, and it's quite blatant as well. If we look at Darkness Ablaze, no other chase card holds any value. And in fact, even the Charizard, being the main chase card, holds little to no value because that set's just been printed into the ground, and it's not as hard to pull as some of the latter chase cards. Even the Rainbow Pikachu from the next set, Vivid Voltage, was a heap harder to chase and pull than that Darkness Ablaze Charizard. If we look at a set like Obsidian Flames, which is obviously new, Scarlet and Violet, look at the next chase cards behind the top three Charizards. The top three chase cards are Charizard SIR and the two Charizard EX Full Arts. And then the next value card is worth next to nothing. So Charizard just dominates that set, and then nothing else gets any value. Look at Champion's Path, a great little holiday set, but it's only held up by two Charizards. What's third in that set? There's a waifu card that's third, isn't it? Is it Skylar from Champion's Path? Anyway, my point still remains that the two top chase cards are the Charizard, and then nothing else holds any value or next to no value. So it's like if you put a Charizard inside a set, everything else just goes to waste. Same with even Brilliant Stars. You've got a beautiful trainer gallery, arguably not as beautiful as Lost Origins, but you've got a really nice trainer gallery. You've got a couple of other old art Pokemon, but again, it's Charizard, 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 or it might be a Gold Master Ball or Ultra Ball as the third most expensive card from the set, but it's pretty much Charizard, 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 and no other Pokemon gets any limelight or is worth anything. So is putting Charizard as the main Pokemon and star of a set detriment to other cards in the set or other Pokemon in the set? It seems so. Can a set survive and be investable without Charizard? If we look at Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon, it seems the answer is also probably yes. Let's look at Evolving Skies. Not one Charizard. He doesn't exist in there. The chases are based off some great cards, some great Gen 2, Gen 3 sort of cards in the Evolution line with Umbreon and Leafeon and Glaceon. And you get the idea. There's also Rayquaza, of course, in there. So that set does not have Charizard, does not depend on Charizard, it is extremely strong. Lost Origin, Sword and Shield, also an extremely strong set. And other than having that Charizard inside the trainer gallery, which is, not a chase card for the set. Yeah, it's cool to pull it, but it's not a main chase card. Okay, that set survives strongly without Charizard. Even a set like Chilling Reign, which has obviously no affiliation with Charizard whatsoever. It's all about ruling the Tundra. I don't know if the great guy's Flame Tail is going to survive too well in the Tundra. So that set as well, no Charizard, and has performed extremely well, particularly in the last 6 to 12 months. And if you've watched my channel, I did call it with Chilling Reign, and it will continue to go up. The market floor on that will continue to push up as more products get sold around that 350 or 300 to 350 Australian dollars a booster box. So it seems, and even if we trace back to Sun and Moon, okay, a set like Team Up, which has one main, I think it's a rare, but it's not a chase card. It has one rare Charizard inside the set, but the whole set is, again, not based off Charizard. Unified Minds, not based off Charizard. So we have some really, really strong performing sets from the last few years that heavily don't feature Charizard, as in they are based solely not around Charizard. So what's more investable? Okay, we can get some weak sets, okay, like imagine if Champion's Path had no Charizard. It would be a really weak holiday set. So I'm not saying just because Charizard's in it, don't invest in it. What I'm saying is it's a really interesting, or if you put that lens on, like a really analytical lens when it comes to looking at the sets, you'll find that Charizard isn't always cracked up to be in making a set really valuable. It can certainly help. And if we look in the past, for the most part, it's well and truly helped, okay? The strongest set from XY Evolution is Flashfire. If we go back into the past into a set like Expedition Base, which had, 3 Charizards inside it, and some of them reverse holos as well, okay, that set is worth big dollars and heavily based around Charizard. So Charizard can certainly add weight to a set, but it seems these modern Charizard sets, for the most part, it just seems to be a little bit overdone and not as strong as some of the other sets without Charizard. So when it comes to investing, don't just use that basic approach and get caught up on the fact that it has Charizard in it, so it's going to perform really well. Look at Darkness Ablaze. That is actually one trap that I fell into about 3 years ago. I thought, oh, beautiful. You know, this is the next XY. Did I say evolutions before when I was talking XY? I meant Flashfire. If I did say evolutions, I apologize. I meant Flashfire. I was like, beautiful. This is the next XY Flashfire. There's a couple of main set chase Charizards inside there, plus there's the big VMAX chase card Charizard. I thought, beautiful. This is the next XY Flashfire. It's going to perform really well. And 3 years down the track, or 3.5 years down the track, or even 4 years, however long it's been since, probably nearly 4 years since that set came out, it really hasn't moved all that much. You know, it's probably gone from $90 US to probably what, 120, 130 US dollars. So you would have been better off parking your money elsewhere. Even just in a bank account, collecting interest on it would probably outperform Darkness Ablaze. And same thing can be said maybe for Obsidian Flames. So people that go, oh wow, you know, we've got an awesome special illustration rare Charizard. We've got two other main Charizard EXs with the terrestrialized form. That's a hard word to say, isn't it? The terrestrialized form. And, you know, this set's just going to go to the moon because it's got Charizards inside it. Brilliant Stars, same thing. It'll just go to the moon because it's got Charizard inside it. Make sure you really think about what else is going to hold that set up. Because Charizard by himself can't just hold a set up, especially in these modern days where sets are being so heavily printed. It's not like Expedition. It's not like Flashfire. These sets are so heavily printed, and you then need to also look at the pull rates. Like if we look at Obsidian Flames Charizard, pull rates are pretty easy. Darkness Ablaze Charizard, not as easy as Obsidian Flames, but a lot easier than a lot of the other big chase cards throughout the Sword and Shield era. A lot easier than the Alt Art Charizard from Brilliant Stars. Well, I suppose if we can summarize a few things in this video, it seems Charizard is perhaps overrepresented. I wouldn't say he's overrated. He's not overrated at all. He's the OG. He deserves some spotlight. He deserves some chase card power, and well, he's just the man. He's that hero/villain, weird relationship, like I said, that you see from Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. So he's not overrated, but he's definitely overrepresented. And perhaps sparing him a little bit more will add more weight to him when he does go inside a set as a chase card. Is Pokemon milking him? This is probably the next thing to talk about. Yeah, quite possibly. It seems like if he goes on the cover of sets, if he goes on booster boxes, if he's the main chase card, people will spend money on it and it'll help move product. So are they milking him? Yeah, quite possibly. Is he a detriment to other Pokemon when he's featured inside a set as the main chase card or group of main chase cards? Well, current sets would say he probably is detriment to other Pokemon. I think the fourth takeaway we can get from this is, can a set survive without Charizard and be investable? It certainly can. It certainly can. We've seen it with Evolving Skies. We've seen it with Team Up. We've seen it with Unified Minds. We've seen it with Chilling Reign in Sword and Shield. We'll see it with Paldea Evolve. Paldea Evolve will outperform, in my opinion, Obsidian Flames. It will. I think it's just a better set, and it's not relying on Charizard at all. So I think there's some key takeaways there. Hopefully everyone's learned something. I'm certainly not bagging out the great man. It's great to pull a Charizard. He's a great chase card, but my advice would be, or my suggestion, not that I create the cards or have any say in the company, I would like to see him used a little bit more sparingly. So when he does get used, it adds a bit more weight. And then I would love to see some more chase cards, okay? And I've said this in previous videos, some more Gen 2 and Gen 3 chase cards, which we haven't really seen in Scarlet and Violet yet. Where's the Rayquaza? Where's the Umbreon? Where's the Gen 2 starters? Where's the Feraligatr chase? Oh, special illustration rare, whatever you want to call it these days. Where's the Meganium? Where's the Typhlosion? Like, that would be sick special illustration rares. Where are those Gen 2, Gen 3? Where's the Lugia? Where's the Ho-Oh special illustration rare? These things will add just as much weight to a set as what Charizard can because they're popular Pokemon. Anyway, I don't know if you'd call that a rant, more a conversation and me thinking out loud, but hopefully you learned something from it. I'm Michael, this is Pokeols, and I'll catch everyone next time.